Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna have a little fun with one of my favorite games of the last decade, is Stellaris. Hey Uchi, thank you so much for coming. How can I do this? There we go. Yeah, thank you for coming to watch my stream. So, if you don't know Stellaris, it's basically a space exploration game. It kind of comes in multiple stages, where first you're exploring, then you're kind of building your relationships with all the other empires while you're building up your own, and finally there's like the big final stage where tension starts brewing and things get chaotic. So, alright, that's cool. Thanks for stopping by at least. Yep, it is indeed a strategy game. So, what I wanted to do, because thing is, you can build your own empire. There's a few, you can start with, basically any empires you've built in a previous game, you can have them spawn just in the starting map, and you'll run into them eventually. So I'm gonna have these on, because these are all empires I built previously. We're going to go ahead and create a new empire. Now, like I said in my tweet, and I think the title of the stream, we're gonna make a Vtuber empire, basically. So I'm gonna do my very best to replicate what a Vtuber space empire might look like. So we're obviously not going human, because there are a lot of non-humans that are VTubers these days. You could be a machine, although that requires like a certain playstyle, and I don't think I want to go for that. We could go for mammalian. There's a lot of cat girls out there, though this is the closest we've got to cat girls, and it's not terrible, but I like this one because it's a lot cuter. Although I've played with that one before, and I don't actually... hang on. First I want to go back. Okay, I haven't actually used that on this PC yet, so we're gonna go ahead. Big VTuber being big VTubing empire. Yes, yes, Muriel. So yeah, we're gonna go for these cute little lads, because VTubers like to be cute. By the way, I don't have all the DLC for this game. I have like most of the expansion packs that like affect gameplay and add new things, but I don't have all the cosmetic stuff, because there's all sorts of like different pictures you can get besides what I have. What should we name this empire? Let's go with oh wait, no, this is the species. This is, so yeah, obviously the species is just gonna be Vtuber, pluralized Vtubers, and I guess Vtuber could also be the adjective. I know that's technically a noun, but there's a lot of ways nouns can be used as adjectives, so let's go... because we could go Vtube, but that's not quite right. We could write a whole biography, but that'll take a little bit more time, and I want to get into the actual gameplay here. So... oh, you might be able to see here over on the side, these are all the DLC that I have. But you can use your imagination for the biography. Let's go next. These are the names. There's all sorts of different names. Basically this will determine what the generated names are as more of your species come into being during the gameplay. I don't want to spend too much time looking for names, but let's go for something that's kind of fitting for VTubers. Yeah, we might just go human, because humans, we may not all be human, but we sure love using human-like names. What's the closest one we've got? This one kind of works. No, we'll go with this one. Are we? I don't know. Does anyone watching have a preference? Kind of just looking in this window right here in the leader names. This one seems to be a lot more multinational. Like we've got names like Fernandez and Wong and Nelson, so that's probably the most. Yeah, we'll probably go for this one, but also some VTubers like to go kind of eccentric and pick real like what's the term, like fantastical names like Tiberius and Marcus. But no, I think we'll go for this one since we are a multinational thing. Alright, CM sounds good. Cool. Actually, we could change our prefix ISS. Should we just change this to VTS? That's a dual usage there. It can be VTuber ship, or it could be VTube Studio. Which is what I use, by the way, for my model. By the way, I'm leaning forward a lot more. Nope, I'm fine. Alright, cool. So we'll make that. Now these are the traits you can pick. There's all sorts of traits that affect gameplay and balance for your species and stuff like that. Generally speaking, you can just be like, I want nothing but good things for my species, and you can do that. And it might, you won't be able to pick as many traits, and it's not as fun for role-playing, but you can. But we are going to pick a negative trait. This will give us more trait points, which we can use to pick another trait. We can pick up to 5 traits. So let's see, what's a good way to describe VTubers? Well, I mean, quarrelsome. We do get into some arguments here and there, but we're very communal. Let's go with communal, because VTuber community is very tight-knit and self-supporting, you know, so we'll be communal. You could be resilient too. That defense army damage doesn't actually mean deviance. Actually, yeah, we're gonna go for deviance, and that's actually like, yeah, I was thinking of doing that beforehand. This is also just a negative trait that I always go for when building just any empire in this game, because it's just like it's basically a free negative trait, because charismatic, we could go charismatic. Yeah, let's do that. And actually the amenities is very fitting. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, basically deviance doesn't matter that much. The fact that governing ethics attraction minus 15%, because you can easily counterbalance that. So it's just a free trait. If you're playing this game by yourself or want to pick it up, always go for deviance, in my opinion, because it's not going to screw you over. and it's just a free pick. So let's move on. Homeworld. I was thinking we could go for a wet homeworld because a lot of us VTubers out there are thirsty. Let me know if you disagree with that or think we should go for like frozen or dry. Frozen if you think a lot of us are cold-hearted. Dry if yeah, dry if some of us have dry humor. But let's go thirsty. What do you wet, tropical, continental, or oceanic? What sounds good? While I wait for any potential responses, let's pick a name for this homeworld. Vtopia. Sounds perfect. What's a good star name? We could just name it Vtopia as well. Yeah, I like the sound of continental. Alright, we'll go with that. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll just go with Vtopia. Or, wait a minute. VT. Actually, here we go. All of Us. That's the name of our star. You know why? Because we're all stars. We can change the type of solar system that we start from. Like, we could have a trinary star system. Binary. Unary, I think that just means there's one star. There's a few preset systems. We could go for Sol, that's our real-life solar system that we live in. But that's kind of boring. Void Dwellers is basically we don't actually have a planet. We start in, like, these space, space stations that we live on. But, there's also Shattered Ring World that, that's a little bit more complicated, so we'll not go for that. And then there's... I like random, unless any of these sound particularly good. We can come back and change it because we got more things to do. So this is just going to be picking what our cities look like. These are locked off because I don't have the DLC for them. And I don't... We might be able to go for Lithoid, but since I'm not playing as a Lithoid species, it might not let me. Fungoid, Arthropoid, Molluscoid. I mean, all these are pretty. Mammalian's kind of boring. Same with Reptilian. Kind of like one of these, although any of these are actually pretty good. That's a good question. What makes the most sense? Yeah, let's not touch Lithoid. I kind of like the look of this one most, the Fungoid City. And the game's not going to be mad at me for picking a Fungoid City while not being a Fungoid species. Oh, what? Nope. Cancel. I didn't mean to click that. Let's see here. So this is the origin of our species. And basically it's kind of like our backstory, and it will affect how we start. some of these are just kind of challenge modes. Let's see, what's something that makes sense? So prosperous unification, again, kind of. Hang on a minute. Trinary system, human, animal, robotic. Okay, we can do that. Just let me turn down the volume on my PC here real quick. This is kind of loud in my ears. What was that? Name and class. Alright, let's move to Trinary, and let's just go for Trinary 1. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. Yeah, so let's see. Prosperous unification, that's just like a very standard starting origin that, yeah, I mean, there's nothing too special about it. It just gives you a nice boost to start with. And it kind of makes sense for VTubers because we're kind of like nice and unified. Mechanist, post-apocalyptic, life-seeded, remnants, scions, the shoulders of giants. That one kind of has its own poetic sense to it, because a lot of us VTubers wouldn't have started out if there weren't such big VTubers out there paving the way for us and making, introducing a lot of us to this whole VTubing thing. So that's kind of poetic. Calamitous birth. Can't do that because we're not lithoid. Common ground is another good one, although we don't necessarily all agree on the same stuff, so might be a little bit out of character. Resource consultant, we're not machines, not all of us anyway. We're not hegemonic. We could go for doomsday, because it's entirely possible that all of us could crash and burn someday, and that would be kind of sad, but we're not gonna go with that. So I'm mostly thinking between on the shoulders of giants and prosperous unification. I'm thinking leaning more towards prosperous unification, because while what I just explained with on the shoulders of giants might sound poetic, I kind of want to give a shout out to everyone involved in the VTubing community, no matter how big or small. We're all in this together, so let's go with that. What this will do, basically POPs are short for population, and this basically just means we'll start off with a little bit more population to work jobs and stuff, and we'll start with 2 additional districts, which are what we're going to use to have jobs. These are our jobs, so let's go with that. Alright, this one is my favorite thing to play around with when building an empire, because basically we've got an ethics tree here. You got 3 ethics points, and basically this wheel kind of represents where your empire leans ethically. So and opposite sides of the wheel are going to be opposing, so I can't pick egalitarian and also be authoritarian. We have to pick one or the other. And then this works in basically these orange ones are fanatic, so it's basically we're gonna be all in on this particular ethic, whereas if we were to just go for the regular, also the cost is double, so it consumes 2 ethics points instead of just the 1. This one here in the middle is Gestalt Consciousness. That's if we're a hive mind, which I don't think we are. I think we're pretty diverse. So, and I thought about this beforehand. So hear me out. And you can pick 3 of these minor, like these blue ethics, or you can pick 1 of these orange ethics and 1 of the minor ethics. So, yeah, what I was thinking xenophilic, because we, for the most part, like each other and we get along. And fanatic spiritualist, or just regular spiritualist. Not because we're particularly religious, but because VTubers are our religion, at least for some of us. But that's kind of what I want to emulate here with this empire, is we're trying to spread the love of VTubing to everyone in the known galaxy, so... but whether I go for basic spiritualist or fanatical... that's a question, because, I don't know, maybe we want egalitarian, authoritarian. We could take pacifist or militarist. I don't know, I kind of like this setup here. So, xenophile, what that's going to give us, it's going to give us more trade value. And what that means is, people are going to... I think it means people are going to want to trade with us more, but for the most part, what it just means is it means any trade systems we have set up in our empire will generate more value. And so I think that's more internally focused rather than externally. It also means other people like us more because we like them more. Or... well, yeah, it kind of means both those things, unless they're xenophobic, in which case they'll hate us. We have to accept refugees, we can't enslave other people, and we can't displace other aliens, so that's fine, that's totally fine. And then over here in Fanatic Spiritualist, what that does, we can build temples for us to worship our VTubers and that we simp for, and we cannot use the full AI rights policy. What that means is later on in the game, when we unlock special things like robots to do our bidding, we can't give them human rights, because that's kind of the thing with spiritualists in this game. We're more focused on the material, we're less focused on the material and more focused on the spiritual, and as far as we know or care about, robots don't have a soul. Okay, so with those picked, we'll go ahead and select our type of authority. So this is basically how our government works. So we could be democratic, which is... yeah, robots can be VTubers. Fair enough, fair enough. I see your point. Okay. We still, if we're gonna be spiritualist at all, we're going to have to discriminate against robots in some way or another. But the alternative is, we could go the opposite and go materialist, because a lot of us need equipment to, like, to exist. Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting thought. I still think I want to go spiritualist, though. Yeah, streaming equipment is expensive. You know what? Yeah. Well, we're... To celebrate our robotic... our fellow robots, we're going to, at some point, get robots into our empire, so we'll go materialist and eventually give them rights. So with that in mind, let's go fanatic xenophile, because I don't really feel like any of these other ones really fit us all that much. Like, we could go egalitarian or authoritarian, but there's arguments for either side here. We could be egalitarian because we're very communal, but at the same time we could go authoritarian because in a single instance of a particular person's stream, the streamer has the final say in everything. So we could go that. Yeah, there's like an argument for either side here. We obviously can't pick the opposite of either of these. We could go militarist or pacifist if we're more warmongering or like peace. But again, like, we kind of come in all shapes and sizes here, so I don't think one of those ways or the other is whichever we pick is going to exclude a certain group. So I think fanatic xenophile and materialist is a good way to go. And as for here, I was thinking, so democratic, yeah, I could toss a coin, but I don't feel like it. Let's see, yeah, so as for a type of government, we could go democratic, which is basically more representative of the fact that we're just a tight-knit community that doesn't really have a single authoritative figure. Oligarchic is basically there's a few of us that kind of lead the pack and the rest follow. And that is also elected, but that's a little bit less, it's less democratic. Then we've got dictatorial and imperial, which neither of those really feel right. What I kind of want to do, because I love playing as these things, and because there's a lot of money involved in Vtubing, whether it's us spending money or whether it's us getting money, there's a lot of money being thrown around, and so I feel like us being a mega corporation. So we're gonna be a corporation. I know capitalism, screw capitalism and all that jazz, which I totally agree with. But hear me out, money. So now we get to pick some civics. We've got a few civics that we're not allowed to pick because of what we picked over here and what we picked over here. So for instance, we can't be a gospel of the masses because we're not spiritualist. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we're gonna go corporate here. Because we can't exclude being corporate if we're gonna build a VTuber empire, because like you just said, it's kind of in our blood. So yeah, we've got a few things to choose from. Ruthless competition. I mean, that's one thing, because we are kind of competitive with each other, you know, kind of trying to rise to the scene and get more followers for ourselves and stuff. It's like friendly competitive. We don't actually actively hate each other, but we are a little bit competitive. We could go public relations specialists because Yeah, competitive but ruthless. Okay, not ruthless. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, we could also go public relations because we got a few people in our community that really try to boost each other and help each other out, so we can all get up there in those high follower numbers. So that's not a bad pick. Actually, I mean, you can't not go media conglomerate because we rely on it. Like, we use the media to, in some way or another, to exist. I think that I might be misreading that a little bit, but I think that fits. If you have an argument against it, go ahead and voice that. Yeah. So we're gonna stick with that, and then so brand loyalty is also not a bad pick because a lot of those simps out there will simp for the rest of time. We've got criminal heritage, which is I mean, we've got some criminals that do degenerate things, but that doesn't speak for everyone. Same with franchising. Like, some of us do franchise and like really try to spread out and make money on our image, but others are that's not everyone. Free traders doesn't really seem to fit. So yeah, let's yeah, I'm thinking between public relations specialist and brand loyalty. It's gonna be one of those two. What do you think? PR. Alright, we'll go with PR. So what this does, it gives us a little bit. So media conglomerate will give us less war exhaustion, so when we're at war with another empire, we won't get as tired of it. Basically, it's call all the simps to fight on our side against people that are saying mean things about us. Yeah, exactly. And happiness, because we love what we do. It makes us happy, and we make other people happy. And as for public relations, this gives us more envoys, which envoys are used to... They have a few uses, and I'll get into that when we actually start the game, because good lord, we've been going on for like 30 minutes now and we haven't even started. Yeah, and diplomatic weight basically means people will agree more with what we have to say when it comes to like voting in the galactic community and stuff like that. So, let's move on. We've got our advisor voice. This is just whatever. It's gonna be the sound of our voice that speaks to us as we play the game.
Our goal is to create a galactic system that maximizes innovative self-actualization and redefines future-proof solutions for every stage of a customer's life. Megacorp, we're with you every step of the way.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. There's just gonna be a voice in our heads as we play the game. It'll just give us warnings like, oh, so-and-so just declared war on us, or someone broke up from a federation, so I usually just go based on the government. Don't let the baseless
accusations of wrongdoing fool you. Our competitors are simply projecting their own insecurities.
Alright, now our empire name. We could pick random. Vtuber conglomerate. That's like, I'm not kidding you, that is the very first thing that popped into my head when I was thinking of an empire name. We got Stellar Industries, Vtuber Star Corp. Come on, there we go. Corporate Holdings, Vtuber Incorporated. We could just be Inc. Intersolar, Stellar Industries, Transstellar. Let's go Vtuber Interstellar. Interstellar. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Interstellar. I mean, I could say Imperium, but we're not really going Imperial at this point since we're a Megacorp. Megacorps don't like to spread wide very much. They like to spread tall, if you get what I'm saying. We don't like to have as many planets. We just like to build up on the planets that we have. So... Here we go. Streamers. Vtuber Interstellar Streamers. Vtuberin. That's just what the game auto-generated as our adjective. Vtuberin. I don't think so. that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel like a word. I think it'd just be VTuber, right? Let's move on. Just VTuber, yeah. Alright, here we can design our logo. I'm usually... like, there's so much. Like, so many different logos to pick from. So... I'm not gonna... I don't want to spend too much time on this, because again, we're still not in the game yet. Let's see, any of these look good? This kind of looks like a microphone. We could go for that. Let's see what we have here. I kind of like the heart. Yeah. These are specifically Megacorp focused, so if we wanted to pretend we had like a little name under here, we could go for that. I like this one here because it kind of looks like the Jedi symbol, if you're familiar with Star Wars. So that's like one of my personal ones that I like. We could go for this if we're going Soviet. This too, technically. Yeah, I like the microphone. It fits. And I also honestly can't think of any empire I would build in the rest of my life playing this game that would use this as a logo. So as for colors, well, our colors are all over the place, and there's so many different things we could do. We could kind of go for this wavy thing, or like our, we could have a circle. This one's kind of nice. Just a slash through. We've got a pinwheel. I don't know why, but for some reason the pinwheel just speaks to me most. So let's go with that. And as for colors, I mean, so many of us have so many different colors, so it's like kind of hard to pick, to be honest. Because honestly, there's really not a color that I associate too much. I mean, kind of blue and pink tend to be pretty popular colors in a lot of VTubers that I see. Like, they'll either have blue or pink, or blue and pink, and so yeah, go for kind of, yeah, darker blue. Yeah, how's that look? I think that looks fine. It's not perfect, but I don't want to, again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Alright, here we get to pick the type of ship. Red, white, and pink. Okay. Okay, I see that. Let's see what red. Yeah, I don't like that. That kind of clashes. What if we change the pink? Nah. We really don't have a white either. I don't know. Does that seem fine? Maybe what? That kind of looks better, I think. If we're gonna do two colors that are very similar, this way at least they don't like make me dizzy. And then over here, yeah, again we can just pick whatever's the coolest. Again, I'm not entirely sure if if it'll let me use lithoid, because they're technically a special species on their own that's separate from actual living being, like breathing creatures, I should say, that eat food. Avian's kind of cool looking, so is the molluscoid ones. I don't even know what this fungoid is. That's just a blob. A blob that's just floating in space. Yeah, I just think Avian's the coolest here. Again, I'm not very impressed with mammalian or reptilian. They're both... I mean, they're fine. They just don't look as cool and sciencey and futuristic as the rest of these things. So let's go alien. As for our starting ruler, unfortunately, you can only pick male or female. That's a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do? I'll just pick female because that's what I go for in a lot of these. Any game where you only have two genders to pick from, I usually go female. Plus, not to drag on male VTubers, love a lot of them. They're all great. But female one, you know what I'm saying? Like, take Hololive, for example, right? We've got Hololive and Holostars, and Hololive has a lot more fans, and could just be from exposure. It could be from simps just liking women more, degeneracy, whatever. Because everyone in Holostars is great. Like, they're all fantastic, but anyway. Please don't take that out of context, okay? Like I said, I love everyone. Yeah, that's a very good point. And yeah, there are a lot of male VTubers that have really made it big out there. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, please don't take what I said out of context. I love everyone. And this could just randomize the name of whoever our leader is. Don't you dare! Hang on a minute. Yeah, we could change this to, I mean, for our very first one, why not? Why not, why not? You know? And, we can change the title, like, Chief Executive Officer is the title of our ruler, but we can do all sorts of, we could change it to whatever we want, if we wanted to. I don't know if we do. And of course, if we were building a specific Hololive, like, focused empire, this would be Yago. But, we're not doing that. We still could, I wouldn't complain, but, no, it's, CEO? I think CEO is fine, but then again, I don't know, this is kind of... We're not just one corporation. I mean, I know that's literally what megacorporation is if you're playing as a megacorp, you are just an entire empire that is just Amazon or Google that rules the world. Oh, you do? What, progenitor? Oh, I like that. Okay. And we don't have an heir. That's basically just specific to if we're playing with Imperial Succession, where it's just like we're an emperor and we have, like, you know, a prince or whoever who will inherit the title when the emperor dies. But since a megacorp is focused on, like, corporate stuff and there is no, like, necessarily designated successor, sometimes there are, but yeah, there you can't have an heir title. And then here we can just change the colors and stuff. I don't want to bother too much with this. I kind of like the red, because there's a lot of different outfits and stuff. Some species have more you can play with. Let's go with, yeah, I like this one. And then the room. Okay, so the room, there's like a million different rooms you can pick. And it doesn't really matter. This one's kind of cool. This looks like a streaming setup right here. You got multiple monitors. You got the big screen that, whatever. Yeah, this is a streamer setup. So, this is the kind of overview of what we've got. We've got a mega corporation. Yep, RTX 3060. We're fanatic xenophiles, materialistic, communal, deviants, charismatic. And we're starting with prosperous unification on a continental trinary system, living on Vtopia. So let's save that. Then done. And there's so many sliders you can play around with when setting up how the game launches. We don't need Iron Man mode. I'm probably not going to save and reload much anyway, but I just like being able to save whenever I feel like, whereas Iron Man doesn't. You can choose to randomize this stuff. Doesn't really... Yeah, I mean, this is just a general setup I like to go with when starting a game. Although, let's bring down... that, yeah. I mean, this probably won't be a full playthrough until the very end because you can sink countless hours into just even a single playthrough of this game. And I don't really plan to stream too long today. I'm hoping to be done in a little over 2 hours, so please don't crash. Alright, here we are. We are in yada yada. We used to be primitives and now we're spacefaring empires. So, here we are in our starting solar system. This is... Where is our planet? Is it... No, that's not... Here it is. Here is Vtopia. Come on. Alright, so yeah, this is our starting planet, Vtopia. We're the third planet from the central star in our system. And we've got a few things. We've got mining stations that are just collecting minerals in different places. This is collecting science for us, and this is where we are in the entire galaxy. So we've got different we haven't explored any of these star systems out here, and we don't know how to get to any of these. We just know these are the hyperlanes that we can use to get to various star systems. So it kind of looks like we're a little bit cornered, so we really hope there isn't anyone over here that's going to claim any of these systems, because otherwise we can't expand all that much. And while being a megacorp, we don't need to expand a whole lot. We do want to expand some, because eventually we want at least more than one other planet to settle on so we can grow more pops. Up here we've got energy. This is just like money, basically. It's credits. Minerals are what you use to build stuff. Food is what you need to eat and feed your pops. Consumer goods are just a representation of, like, you know, things consumers need if they're living in a society. So, like, for us VTubers, that would be RTX 3060s and what do we currently have that massive global shortage of right now? Semiconductors? Yeah, that's our semiconductors right there. Alloys, they're used to build things in space, especially your ships, and influence are things that you use. Yes, PS5s. PS5s. Unity is just a representation of how unified we feel, and we can use that to unlock stuff. We've got various special resources that we can collect over time. We haven't found any yet. And this is Sprawl. Sprawl is just a generic representation of, like, the culmination of everything that your empire has to take care of. So that's the number of people that live in it, the number of districts that you have to organize and build, the number of planets and the number of systems you have to take care of. So this is just a representation of how many systems we can, like, how much in our entire empire that we can reasonably manage. We are allowed to go over that limit, and we will definitely be going over that limit, unless, of course, we can't expand beyond this point. This is the number of envoys we have. So right now we've got 5 envoys, and these, right now we don't have any use for them, but when we do, I'll explain that. And we have 34 VTubers. Paradox, the company that made this game, has no actual, like, they refuse to actually explain what this number is supposed to represent, because we obviously don't have 34 individuals on this entire massive planet. But 34 million seems kind of small, and 34 billion, I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, and the fact that there's, let me show on the planet, this is what our pops are doing. So right now we have 2 pops being rulers. So if you're telling me we've got 2 billion rulers on the planet, come again? And yeah, we've got people working as bureaucrats, so like 2 billion bureaucrats, 1 billion enforcers, that's like a billion police officers, basically. You sure about that? Anyway. I mean, I guess this is in like the spacefaring age where we absolutely need to expand. Yeah, I know. So... yeah, I don't actually know what this 34 number is supposed to be on a scale of, but you kind of just get a feel for it. 34 isn't all that much currently. We are allowed 3 star bases. Star bases are, this, hang on, this thing right here, this is a star base. They are more or less what protects that star system and all the trade that goes through it. And we've got naval capacity. By the way, these things also, you can go over the limit, but this is the max you're allowed to have reasonably. This, however, you're not allowed to have more than 5 envoys. Okay, if you unlock another envoy, the game will grant you another envoy, but you physically can't get more than that maximum. You can increase the maximum, you can't get more than the maximum, if you get what I'm saying. Anyway, before we start, so we've got a few things to look at. So, on our planet, you can see here we've got a little building slots available. This is the screen I mostly look at when I'm managing planets. So, on our starting planet, we've got prosperous unification. So that means we're all happier. We've got more amenities, which are basically the number of VTubers that are streaming right now to keep everyone happy. And we've got resources from jobs up. That just means all our workers are a lot happier with the life that they have, so they're more willing to meet a higher quota in their day at work. Also, the year is 2200, so we're a bit in the future. These are our types of districts. We've got ag, which is where we get our food. These are farms. Mining districts, this is where we get minerals from. And generator districts are where we get money from, our energy credits. And city districts are where people live. We've got 3 sections of our planet, 3 areas that are blocked by various things. So we've got like industrial wastelands and sprawling slums. Later on in the game, you do want to clear these out so you can keep building up on your main capital. And I believe only the capital planet starts with these types of systems, unless there's like a special planet that you take over later that had been previously colonized. This is our governor. Our governor is not the same as the leader. We've got our big leader here that manages our entire empire. All the governor cares about is this one sector, which is currently we only have the one sector. So we've got our governor Sota, I think that's Sota Hasegawa, who's righteous. So we don't have that many criminals on our planet because Sota, who is male, he will strike them down with his iron fist. We do have a building we can build here. Currently we can't because we don't have enough minerals, but we'll hope to fix that very soon. Yeah, here's our shipyard, which is where we build starships. And we've got a few civilian ships. So we've got a science ship. First thing we want to do, before we start the timer ticking along, is send out our science ship exploring. Now, I do want to claim these star systems first, because it looks like these don't lead anywhere. So I'll send this science ship the shortest route, and Saki Sato, she is going to survey this unknown star system and let us know if there's anything of value there that we might want to claim. We're going to, hang on, that's our military fleet. We're going to go to our shipyard and have them build us a science ship with our alloys, because at the start of the game you want more than one science ship. You want to explore as much and as quickly as possible, because there's a big galaxy and you're probably not going to reasonably explore more than this before you run into another empire. So you want to be able to see as many of these star systems as you can before other empires have a chance to claim up those star systems, so you can't actually expand. Let's see. Our construction ship is going to... Eventually we're going to send our construction ship over here to build us a... what's it called? A star base. That's just going to claim the system for our own. But right now it can't, because the construction ship can't see what's over there. It doesn't know if there's anything over there it needs to look out for. So that's why we're sending our science ship ahead first. What our construction ship can do, however, is build. We've got a few resources here that aren't in green, excuse me, that we could build mining stations for to collect those, and we absolutely want to do that. I'm going to start with this. That's going to get us more engineering research. So let's build that. That's going to use up all of our minerals. And then up here, we've got three types of research that are going on at the same time. So we've got physics, society, and engineering. I think those are all pretty self-explanatory as to the types of stuff that they research. So physics is more focused on like what we can achieve with science, like in terms of like building better energy reactors and stuff like that. Society is more focused on how we can function as a society, and engineering is what we can build. So we eventually really want to get fusion power, but we're going to start building up our research speed. So that's going to take 92 months to complete. And then over here, so we start with planetary unification that we can unlock if we so choose. Not every empire starts with this. We specifically started with this because of the origin that we picked. And this is just going to give us some nice bonuses. So right now we're only earning 12 monthly unity. That will bump us up by 2. So we want that. And the game's going to hold this for us. That's why it's outlined in yellow. So in case we wanted to pick one of these two, this would still be an option later on for us to pick. But we're doing fine on food, so we're gonna just go ahead and research planetary unification. That'll take 81 months. And finally, for engineering, So right now we're not too focused on building up our military. We will be in the future, most likely. So we don't really care about these currently. What I want to do is just get as many resources as I can in the early game, so we're gonna boost our mining station output. That'll take 71 months. I think we're now fine. There's also a bunch of stuff over here you can look at. Yeah, I think we're good to start the game. Hit that play button. We're gonna speed it up here to, we can get to, yeah, fastest. So you can see our ships moving around and what I just told them to do. Here goes our science ship off to explore. Oh, and we've already got our new science ship built. So our second science ship, we need to get a scientist for. Anomaly research speed. I think that's what we want for an explorer. Oh, we don't have enough energy. Let's wait one more month until we do. Oh, hang on. Ah. So our science ship that we just sent out. Let me see. Yep. Alright, so our science ship just arrived in this star system. And they discovered an abandoned gateway. So, yeah, an ancient space station of some kind has been located at the edge of the Isval system. The strong residual subspace signature, that's a mouthful, that surrounds the station indicates that it might be a gateway of some sorts, part of a theoretical network of similar stations that at some point would have allowed for near instantaneous travel between different parts of the galaxy. Assuming that this is a gateway, its current state of disrepair has rendered it unusable. If it could be restored into working order, its owner would potentially be able to access any other functional gateways in the galaxy, enabling travel across huge distances in a matter of days. So, what that means, a gateway, it's basically a portal. From any one star system that has a gateway to any other star system that has a gateway. Don't think of it as like the portal gun in the Portal games, because that only links to portals. This links to all portals in the galaxy. Currently, this one is in a state of disrepair, so we can't use it for anything. And even if it was functional, we would only be able to use it if we knew of any other places that it went to, which we currently don't. Anyway, let's wait for the month to tick along so we can get our energy. There we go. To get our scientist. Get our anomaly research speed up. Alright, so this person, we want to send... I kind of want to head in this direction. We could just like leapfrog over this system to just head over here, but I kind of want to spread out. So let's get surveying. Hopefully we find some good stuff in this system.
Upscaling complete.
Alright, our construction of the research station is done. Construction ship. Let's have you keep building. I think we need more minerals to start with in the early game, so let's get a mining station here. Alright, let's take a look at this system we've just discovered. Alright, we've got an asteroid belt, so we could potentially have some good minerals in there. Over here, oop, this science ship discovered this Class M star actually has a bit of physics research we can collect from it. So,
Upscaling complete.
There's our mining station built, and we still have enough to build our final mining station here on this gas giant to get us a little bit more energy credits in. And
Future market survey complete.
Alright, well this is a terrible system. I was hoping to find more stuff here, but all we have is this physics, which isn't bad, especially to start with, but generally if you're going to claim a system, you want more than just one resource from it. But the fact there's a disabled gateway here that we could potentially want to use in the future, and the fact that we currently haven't expanded anywhere at all, we definitely want to expand here. First chance we get, especially since we want to start searching out over here. And this looks like a binary star system. Oh! Okay, so, the Rassian Concordat. So we've researched artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on 32PX328. From what we have translated so far of their language, we have learned that these aliens called themselves the Rassian Concordat. They were an interstellar power that held sway over this region of the galaxy a little over 1 million years ago. They appear to have been 6-limbed mammalians, and there are several references to some sort of plague called the Javorian Pox, which swept across their empire with devastating results, possibly leading to their extinction. And we've found some minor artifacts and begun a precursor chain.
Situation log revised.
So, what this means, I believe it's this science ship here. What they just discovered is in this star system, there's a trace of an earlier civilization from about 1 million years ago that used to rule this section of the galaxy. We don't know how far they spread, but they did at least rule this much. And currently, they seem to have been wiped out by a plague, which is unfortunate, but fortunate for us. We can take advantage of that. It started an event chain called the Precursors. There's all sorts of different precursor civilizations of different types in the game. So some will have they'll have different benefits and different end goal, like different things that you get from completing the chain. But basically, in order to progress the chain, we need to find more of their artifacts. And when we finish the chain, I'm pretty sure it's always going to be their home planet that you discover. And it's not going to show up as one of these pre-existing star systems. It's going to be like a star system we never heard of or even knew existed, kind of like right here, for example. That's going to be like our that we'll be able to explore and colonize, and sometimes there'll be a star system that you'll have to deal with an enemy there before you can colonize it, and sometimes it's just free real estate. But generally you want to complete that. Ooh, and look at this. Our science ship over here in this beautiful blue star system discovered a habitable planet. So this is the Savannah world. It's not great for us because we are particularly accustomed to continental worlds, which are they're wet worlds, whereas the Savannah world is classified as a dry planet. So while we can colonize it, and we probably will at some point, because there are ways to increase habitability of even planets we're not actually naturally accustomed to, we're not going to do that soon. the problem with colonizing planets that are less habitable for your species is it'll cost you a lot more in terms of amenities. So, like right now, we're perfectly happy living on Vtopia, but if we were to move to Queb Daron 3, we'd be less happy because we're used to like wetter climates and it's pretty dry there. But we still want to keep that in mind. And we've got a contact report. Oh, okay, so basically the fact, yeah, so VTuber xenologists are practically falling over themselves to publish their takes on the recent finding of alien life. This fevered storm in the scientific community has had some negative yet temporary impact on pursuits in other fields. So what that means is word that we just discovered a precursor civilization in the area just got out to the masses, and everyone's excited about it. Everyone's ready to start on our space age, knowing that there is other life. So let's keep moving it along. How's that?
Market outlier identified.
Alright, so we just discovered an anomaly over here in Quebdaron. It's this little barren world here is, so sensors are reporting a number of possible points of interest within the dense debris field surrounding Quebdaron 4. So there's something here, and if we let our science ship spend a little bit of time here, we could figure out what it is. But we currently it's an anomaly level of 3, and our scientist is skill of 1. So while we could have our scientist spend a little bit of time here, discover what this anomaly is, it'd take a lot more time than I really want to. So what we're gonna do, we'll leave it for now. We will come back to it eventually, but only once our scientist is leveled up a bit. So we've also got a construction that was completed, so our construction ship is done. What we can do now is have our construction ship build our first starbase over here. So this is going to cost us some influence and some alloys. This isn't so bad right now, but in the early game, you are gonna start running out of those fast. I personally find. But as we need to expand eventually, and generally you want a complete route between
Future market survey complete.
between systems. So if we were to just skip over this system and colonize this one, first of all, it'd cost more influence because there isn't a direct route there. And second of all, it would affect our trade. Because when we've got multiple star systems set up, we've got like traders that are moving in between, bringing various resources back to our home planet. And when we have multiple planets in our empire, they'll be they'll be trading between those planets. And if they don't have a direct route, well, in a lot of cases they just can't do that trading, which you don't want happen. So you don't want any like gaps in your empire if you can help it. I'm gonna take a drink. Alright, so... Oh, this is awful. This is a terrible start. We've surveyed 2 systems entirely so far, and all we found are not very good systems. We only have 2 energy here. I was hoping we'd get something from this asteroid belt, but it looks like we didn't. Well, Well, let's have you move... Actually, let's have you move here. I do want to get to know what's right next to my star system, my home planet, if I can help it early on.
Upscaling complete.
And our starbase is completed, so this is now part of our empire, and we've just expanded our borders. You see our sprawl has gone up from doing that, because we've now got 2 systems instead of 1. And we're going to go right ahead and build this research station, because especially early on in the game, you want as many research stations as you can, for the sake of building up, speeding up your research. Let's see how that's going on. So yeah, we're still 42 months out from our first technology. And there we go. We've got our two years and 1 month into the game. We've got our first traditions. So traditions are what you use Unity for. And basically there's all these different trees that you can go down and unlock, and they all have different benefits when you unlock them. And when you completely fill out an entire tree, taking all its perks, you unlock an ascension perk, and these are powerful. Some are better than others, but they will basically give you good bonuses, especially the late game ones. They're really good. Really don't care too much about supremacy or diplomacy early on until you've met another empire, which we should be about to pretty soon, but for now, I usually in the early game, I like to go for discovery and then expansion, because discovery will, currently we're trying to discover new planets to live on, so that helps us with that, and it just gives us more resources and a higher chance of finding new resources in systems that we're surveying. And expansion will help us when we're actually colonizing another planet, and while we do want to do that as soon as possible, it will unfortunately be a while before we can do that, just because the way that I set up the game, there is no guarantee we'll find a planet that we can actually inhabit anywhere close by. So unless we get really lucky, yeah, we're just going to go for discovery. So right away, that's going to give us an edict that we can use. Edicts cost either energy or influence, depending on the edict, and it's just going to give your empire a benefit, a certain bonus. And it also gives us anomaly research speed increased by 20%. So what that means, that anomaly that our science ship discovered over here, now even though our scientist is still too low a level to reasonably research this anomaly, they'll still be able to do it a lot faster than they were before.
Upscaling complete.
And our construction ship is done, and currently, I mean, we could send our construction ship over here to claim this system, but since I still don't know what's over there, like what's over here, I don't know if it's worth it to do that just yet. We do want to lock down our borders surrounding our capital, so that way other empires can't just encroach and be literally on our doorstep if they want to declare war on us. But for now, it's not a great system, and we want to spend our resources as intelligently as possible early on. So this already, I mean, we haven't found much here yet, but I have a good feeling about this system. So we want to lock it down. We can't actually build a star post there because we haven't finished exploring everything, but we can at least tell our construction ship to move there. Also, what have we got? In our capital, Vtopia, we have unemployed pops, so that means our population has grown, and they currently don't have jobs. We didn't give them enough jobs. There are currently 0 available jobs, so we should have enough minerals now to construct a building. What we currently have are this is our administrative office. It's basically our capital of the capital. Administrative offices, okay, these are administrative offices. They increase the amount of sprawl, so it increases how much we can have in our empire reasonably. We've got some researchers, they're just conducting research. We can choose not to have that, but you don't want to in the early game. Same with the foundries and the civilian industries. And we've got a commercial zone. These will generate trade value for us, so so even though we don't have much in our empire, just on this planet alone, we are still generating trade value. And trade value is basically just a number that you can change what it does. Over here in, I think it's policies. I think the base of what it does is it just gives you more energy credits. You can also change it to give you more unity, or actually, you know what, we're gonna actually go over into these policies. I think it's our trade policy. Yeah, so right now we're on wealth creation, so each point of trade value we have counts as, that's going to give us 1 energy credit. We could change it to consumer benefits, so if we feel like we definitely need more consumer goods coming in, we can switch over to that. It would hurt our economy a little bit in terms of credits, but it would at least help out our pops. And marketplace of ideas is another, and yeah, so this makes our trade not only be half of the amount of energy credits we're currently earning, it also gets us in the long run more unity, and we're gonna do that right off the bat because you want to build up as much unity early in the game as you can. You can make these changes freely, but once you make a change, you can't change to anything else for 10 years. So then here's a few of our other stuff. So we got diplomatic stances. This is basically just what's the best way of putting this? This is a representation of how we see ourselves in the galaxy, I think is the best way of explaining that. So yeah, right now we're mercantile because we're a megacorp. So we desire the facilitation of trade above all else. So closing our borders will cost us influence if we're closing our borders to someone who isn't our rival. But it also gives us more diplomatic weight just based on how strong our economy is, and it gives us more trade value. Right now, that doesn't matter a whole lot because we don't know anyone yet. So we could switch to expansionist. That just makes it cheaper for us to build outposts. Cooperative. That doesn't really matter too much. And belligerent. That's kind of the opposite of cooperative. So right now, yeah. I'm thinking we'll switch to expansionist. Once we do... Alright, thanks for coming. Yeah, thank you so much for being here to watch my stream. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, so... I think we want to switch to expansionist. It will still hurt our current trade value, which I just changed our economic policy to also hurt our trade value, like to hurt our credits, I mean. So maybe if I unpause this, or no, I think it recalculates at the end of the month. But yeah, we want to build here. What's something we can build? I rarely build strongholds. Same with resource silos until like the late game. Research labs isn't a bad idea, but that will take more of our consumer goods, and we're kind of low on what we're getting. Precincts are if crime is a problem, and it's not, especially thanks to our governor. Luxury residence. It's usually a waste of a slot. It gives you a tiny amenity boost and gives you a little bit more housing, but right now, neither of those are a problem, and even then, it doesn't boost it by all that much. Hollow theaters are if you really need amenities and unity. But I don't bother with them unless we really need the amenities. So here we have a corporate culture site. Depending on the type of empire you have and what their policies are, the name of this changes. So I think if you're a spiritualist empire, this will be like a church or something like that, or a temple. But it's basically just, it creates manager jobs that can turn consumer goods into unity, trade value, and society research. I usually like to have at least one of these on each planet that I have, just because it's a generally good output. So let's build one of those. That'll create more jobs, so our unemployed VTuber can soon find employment as a manager. Alright, let's keep time ticking along here.
Market outlier identified.
Alright, we've discovered yet another anomaly. This time over in this system. So it says, we've detected life signs coming from somewhere beneath the barren and lifeless surface on this planet. What manner of organism could possibly live there? It's talking about this barren world right here that's very close to the sun. There's apparently something living under the surface, but we don't really know much about it. It's a level 2 anomaly, so it wouldn't take as much time as our level 3 anomaly would to research, but again, our current scientist level, it wouldn't be as efficient, and I'd rather just keep surveying new systems rather than spending too much time in old ones we've already explored the majority of. So, keep ticking along. Oh, and you can see here now what's happened to our economy since I made those changes. We're now down from, it was like plus 40 to plus 16 energy per month, and it's but this made a jump from, I think it was plus 12 to plus 23, so we have hurt our economy in terms of energy credits, but if you're playing as a megacorp, that shouldn't be too much of an issue, just so we can boost our unity. And we are starting to lose consumer goods. Well, not lose yet, but we're not gaining as many as I would like to. And I find that's often an issue in how I play the game, is consumer goods aren't gonna be plentiful. But that's fine. Alright. We have detected the presence of an alien civilization on Yondu's 4 in the Yondu system. So that's right over here. They appear to be in the early space age, as evidenced by the many primitive satellites orbiting their home world. Their nations' states are on the path towards joining together in a global government, and it is likely only a matter of time before they venture beyond their world and join the galactic community. We should consider building an observation post above their world to study them more closely. So, our scientist ship over here discovered that there is a species living over here on this planet, and they actually have like civilization going on there. They're in an early space age, which means it actually won't be too long before they become another empire that we have to worry about. And usually we would like... So there's a number of things you can do with primitive species. You can build an observation post there, and with the observation post you can either choose to enlighten them, which brings them up to being a competitor species faster. There's a few reasons why you might want to do that, but for the most part, it's not a terrible idea to do that. And especially if, in our case, they're very close to our technology because they're in the early space age. Like if they were in the Stone Age or something, we really wouldn't care about them, because the likelihood that they would reach our level of intelligence and technology is, in an entire playthrough, is like non-existent. But since they're in an early space age, we might not mind getting them to like us more. So, one of our scientists gained a new trait by leveling up. So, through hard work and experience, scientist Saki Sato has developed a particles expertise. So that's this scientist right here that's currently surveying this this system. She now has the... if we were to put her on physics research, she would have a boost towards specialized like particle research in physics. But unless our scientist like dies of whatever reason, I'd rather just go ahead and have our have her keep exploring this system. Alright, let me take a drink here real quick. Okay, so the fact that we've discovered primitive civilization over here has now reached the masses of Vtopia. So, the scientific community on Vtopia is excited to receive the report of intelligent alien life. So we're not just talking germs here, we're talking like actual intelligent life. So they may not be capable of spaceflight, I mean, they are close to it, or they kind of are already, since they've got space stations, but the aliens of Yondu's 4 are quantifiably intelligent, and their society shows all the hallmarks of a moderately advanced culture. Prominent xenologists note that this is an excellent opportunity to study a society perhaps not unlike the ones we have previously only found ancient remains of. So yeah, we've basically just discovered and proven to our society as a whole that there is in fact other intelligent life out there, and people
Potential
are
market
excited
survey
about
completed.
Alright, so we've now finished up surveying this system, and again, it's terrible. All we have is this 3 physics and some primitives, which we do want in the Empire, but for now, this is not a great start. I'd like more resources, please. More resources. Let's survey this system.
Potential market survey completed.
Alright, so we discovered yet another anomaly over here in Quebduran. So, where is that anomaly exactly? It's on 8. Here it is. On this frozen world out here on the outskirts of the solar system. So, there is significant scarring on the surface of this world in a pattern that cannot be natural. From orbit, the massive rifts look almost like writing. So, we can go ahead and have our scientists conduct that research. And the reason I'm doing that is because we've already now finished up surveying this entire system. And now this scientist, this one right here, is now a level 2. And it's a level 2 anomaly. So if our scientist gets to be a higher level than the anomaly, they'll research it even faster. But typically speaking, just for the sake of efficiency, you want your scientist to be equal to or greater than the level of the anomaly they're researching. And usually there will be some sort of reward for doing the anomaly. It'll either be like a new type of thing you can harvest at that place, or it could be like this character gains experience, something like that. But anyway, we will have you research that anomaly, and now that we've discovered this system, let's have our construction ship, or now that we've fully surveyed the system, let's have our construction ship build an outpost. And now this outpost is only 90 alloys instead of 100 because of our expansionist policy. So outpost build cost minus 10%. That is going to help us in the long run. And looks like our governor has leveled up. So, in terms of the alien writings, someone used a mining laser from orbit approximately 5,000 years ago to carve a large body of writing into the surface of Quebduran's 8. The massive script covers a large portion of the planet's upper hemisphere and appears to be a short story chronicling the difficult life of an alien mercenary. So someone just wrote a freaking book on a planet's surface. So that's something. And what that means now is that planet, if we build a research station around it, will generate 3 society research for us. So yep, there's that. And alright, the scientists, now we can send them on to... We'll send them over here.
Upscaling complete.
And now our construction ship is done. So there's a few things we can do now. It might not be a bad idea to have a second construction ship at this point, just so we can start building more research stations around here while we expand elsewhere. But our resources aren't that plentiful currently, and I think we don't even currently have enough influence, do we? No, we don't. We need 2 more influence before we can even build yet another starbase. Or outpost, I mean. So... And I do want this eventually, just so we can get that... get those primitives up to speed with us so they'll like us more, but yeah, I'm not gonna bother building another outpost for now. I'm just going to focus on building as many research stations as I can, get in that research, speed up our technology. We're still 23 months from our first technology. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to use the bathroom, and I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. And you know what's actually kind of funny, I just heard out in the living room, my mom is currently watching the Star Trek, so I think she's watching Discovery. But anyway, I just thought that was a nice touch that I'm currently playing a sci-fi based game while she's watching that. So anyway, back to our expansion. Yeah, we don't care about that and that. What I do care about is we could build another building here, but we're still missing some minerals, so we're gonna hold off on that for now. And we've got another tradition. So You can go ahead and start adopting all the policies you want. But because you don't get the Ascension perks until you complete an entire tree, that's all 5 of the perks, all 5 of the traditions in a certain tree, you don't really... Like, you don't really want to go and grab all of them. What we can do over here in Discovery... So let's see what each of these do. So to boldly go, that speeds up our survey speed, which is really good, and that leads to research station output, so we're probably going to go for that one. This gives us more research alternatives, so right now when we select a research we only have 3 to pick from. If we were, yeah, that's 3. That would give us 1 more. And our scientists could have higher levels. That leads to more experience gain and level cap for all our leaders. And finally, our researcher pops are have a reduced upkeep, so they won't consume as much food and consumer goods. So, like I said, we're gonna go for to boldly go, because that just increases our survey speed by 35, and that's good. That's very good. We want that. So, how's our... Let's move time along. And our scientist, I believe it's this one right here, yep. Has become more experienced, but with this experience has come an increasing stubbornness. The scientist has become quite, what's that word? Obdurate? I've never seen that word before. And is having difficulty accepting new ideas. So, our leader, our scientist, has just become stubborn, which is not good, because it means now he's going to be leveling up a lot slower. It's not as bad as Arrested Development, because I believe Arrested Development is like a minus 1,000 to leader experience game. Basically, this leader will never level up for the rest of its life. But yeah, what can you do? Alright, we're exploring more over here. And we discovered a strategic resource over out here. So, during the survey of NCC 94, the VTS Alacrity, that's the name of the ship, has discovered deposits of rare crystals. These crystals have properties that make them extremely effective at focusing laser beams, and they're also a critical component in most advanced electronics. In addition, many cultures treasure them as decorations and adornments. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. So yeah, we've discovered there are rare crystals in this system, specifically right here on this ice asteroid. And you might not notice, but it actually, that gave a little bit of a insight as to what these crystals are actually going to be useful for in the long term. So, they'll be useful for like laser weaponry and special buildings that boost amenities and stuff like that. So, let's keep time moving along. And we've discovered A new alien species. So these are ones that can actively interact with us. So that's something. They're called beta aliens, and we don't know anything about them until we can study them. So, yep, contact report. So we've now encountered intelligent life capable of spaceflight. In sharp contrast to the primitives previously observed, the Vtuber interstellar streamers, we have yet to get a good look at the beings piloting the crafts that move through the dark with purpose unknown. So, this will give us a new situation. Yeah, so we've discovered life. Oh wait, no, that's an anomaly, never mind. Over here, precursors. Investigate beta aliens. So, we want to do this as soon as possible, because, and we should actually be able to see who it is. Here we go. It's a question mark ship, and okay, so these aren't an actual civilization. These are just a space entity. I don't think they're hostile. But yeah, we still want to research them because it just gets it out of the way. It will put our society research on hold, and you'll find that happens quite a bit in this game. Society research will often just not be doing anything. Well, not most of the time. Most of the time it'll be researching something, but sometimes it will just not be doing anything. Why is this saying +7? I might have screwed it over by clicking that change research thing, but anyway, yeah, so we do want to get this researched, but let's go ahead and get that situation taken care of, because it'll give us influence, and we really need influence to expand our borders. Oh, and yeah, we're now up to 600 minerals, so we should safely be able to build yet another building here. And yeah, there's not too much. We do definitely need more consumer goods, and we can't change our economic policy for another 8 years. So we'll go ahead and start building more consumer goods. This is gonna basically turn minerals into those consumer goods. So we're not gonna be gaining as many minerals, but it'll help us in the long term, and we'll have more ways of getting minerals. So let's build that.
Future market survey complete.
And we've finished up with this place, and yet again, it's terrible. Utterly awful. So let's move you over here. We could research this anomaly, but since this whole area is hyperlane locked, I'm not
Potential
too
market
worried
survey
about
completed.
it. You're done. And this place is at least a little bit better. It's not as good as this one, but yeah. What's my construction ship currently doing? Why did I send you there? I don't know. I could have sworn I told you to build society research, but anyway, I'll worry about building in my borders later. For now, we want to expand borders as much as possible. Get as many systems in. prioritizing the good ones, but even the terrible ones we want to some extent. So we've now discovered... Oh yeah, so we now know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Vtopia. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalog the life forms we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey efforts on habitable, life-bearing worlds. So, this will start an event chain. We could say no if we just want influence, which wouldn't be a terrible idea, but I want as many event chains as possible because they're usually pretty good when you complete them, and especially the habitable world thing is harder if you wait until later to get it. Basically what the game's wanting me to do now is just survey habitable worlds. So if I find ones like this Savannah world up here, or another potential continental world, we could go ahead and start building that up and eventually complete the chain. So you're now done with that survey. Let's have you keep moving outwards. Basically, I want to keep expanding until we run into someone's borders, and then we'll focus more inwardly on like anomalies and such. And we've got yet another tradition. So let's go ahead and grab that databank uplinks. It's gonna make us research a little bit faster, specifically from research stations. So like the ones we have here that are researching like engineering and such. It's gonna be useful. So let's keep it going with our and that should be our
Outlier identified.
Yep, our 3 main scientists have now leveled up, so they should be researching faster. Yep, they're all level 2. So we discovered a new anomaly over here. PTREPN98 is home to a number of exquisite impact craters. However, something breaks the visual uniformity in one of these large craters. So we could research that. It's only a level 1 anomaly, so we could actually research it faster than usual. We will, but I want to finish up this system before we do that. Just to give our leader a little bit more experience and maybe potentially have us research the anomaly even faster.
Special project actualized.
Okay, so we've discovered the Tianki, so that was the beta aliens we discovered earlier. The spaceborne life forms, which the Vtuber head of society research has come to refer as Tianki, are docile creatures, so they won't attack us. Capable of accessing some lower dimension of subspace, they roam from system to system with remarkable ease. They graze on gases common to the upper layers of many gas giants. It is highly unlikely, to say the least, that this is their only food source, but intake of other nutrients has yet to be discovered or observed. They will rarely, if ever, attack, even when provoked. They can safely be ignored. So that has actually unlocked a new research for us, and we've automatically progressed a little bit in that research. It's frequency tuning. I don't remember what it is actually. Let's... yeah, so it's a new weapon we can equip our small ships with, but we don't need to do that. Come on. Get back on that. There you go. See, here we've actually discovered
Upscaling
a little bit
complete.
of generic trade value. So what we're currently generating on our planet, if we get this system into our empire, and a starbase to collect it, we could actually add that +2 trade value to our entire empire. So that's not a bad thing. 2 isn't great, but it's better than nothing, and it really does add up. So, this construction ship is done. We can't build another thing yet, so let's just have you build a research station.
Future market survey complete.
And we've finished up our first technology, the zero-G refineries, so now we're going to be getting more output from our mining stations. That's going to affect our energy credits and minerals. So now we got a few possible things. So powered exoskeleton would boost the amount of minerals we're collecting on a monthly basis, specifically from jobs. But at some point or another, we want all of these at some point. Right now we don't have a use for our military, but we will. But this is going to be faster to research, and our scientist is actually an expert at researching industry, so it's going to be a lot faster. 63 months. And our next research should be in 18 months.
Situation log revised.
Let me take a drink. So, we got sublight exploration probes. Before we developed FTL travel, several sublight exploration probes were dispatched from Vtopia at near relativistic speeds towards nearby systems. So that's like what we're doing with our space probes that we sent out. They're just kind of headed in a direction and sending us stuff. The scientists who developed the probes naively included sensitive information about our culture in their memory cores as a form of greeting to alien civilizations. Uh-oh, that's what we did. It has now been realized that this data could potentially be used against us. We need to track down these probes before they are found by someone or something unsympathetic to our species. So, I don't think I've ever had this one before. So it's a chain where we have to track down that probe. Okay, and it does actually tell us specific system names, and we can track them if we want, but right now, we know of one system, and that's probably going to be it, that anomaly right there. That's probably going to be the space probe. Oh, and this science ship is done. Another not that great system. Come on, game.
Future market survey complete.
Alright, so this scientist is done. We've discovered a level 3 anomaly, which is higher level than the scientist is at level 2. So we got a small docking hatch leads to the interior of this asteroid, and it's visible at the rim of a small crater on its surface. The hatch was likely concealed once, but it has since been exposed by micrometeorite impacts. We're just going to leave it, but what we are going to do is have you go ahead and research this anomaly. So that's the impact craters, however something breaks the uniformity. So let's at least have you research that. Shouldn't take you too long.
Upscaling complete.
Alright, you're done. We're almost ready to build another starbase. We do want to expand outward eventually, but for now, I want to lock this system down, so anyone who claims this system will be able to access all these systems, and we don't want that. We want to create a choke point here, even if the system itself isn't that great. So yeah, let's move you here, wait a month, and then there we go. We should be able to build an outpost. Oh, we've discovered an ocean world, so that's something we could actually inhabit. And alright, so it looks like the anomaly has been finished. So in the center of a particularly large crater on PTREPN 98 lies a cluster of metal shapes, doubtlessly of alien origin. Science officer Saki Sato is convinced that they are massive planetoid mountable propulsion devices intended to push PTREPN 98 from its orbit for purposes and destinations unknown. The VTS Alacrity is on standby, its crew ready to begin disassembly and analysis of the alleged propulsion systems with the hopes of improving our own thruster technology. So that will give us new, better thrusters, which is great. Like, that's an entire technology we don't have to spend time researching, we just get that technology. And on top of that, yeah, so looks like some aliens that we don't really know about wanted to move this asteroid for a reason we don't know.
Research actualized.
And there are those thrusters. We've discovered ion thrusters. So now, we'll go ahead and go to our ship designer for the first time. So right now we've only got 2 ships that are being designed, and the game will automatically, like, as you start the game, it will automatically just pick whatever the best technology is and try to balance it. And it generally does it pretty well. But I usually like to play around with this myself and specialize it. So now we're going to uncheck the auto generate. And I don't mind the auto upgrade, because all that means is when we discover like thrusters 2, it'll just automatically move us over to thrusters 2. We still have to manually tell our fleet to upgrade, but it at least takes that step out of the equation. So right now we've got a few options. I think the Interceptor is the best starting thing to go with. The game's going to balance us out, because we've got lasers, which are bad against shields, but they're good at penetrating armor, and we've got mass drivers, which are basically just guns. That are the opposite. They're good at getting through shields, but bad at penetrating armor. So the game kind of balanced us out here, just in case we run into an enemy that has more armor than shields, we'll still be able to deal with it thanks to our laser, or alternatively, we won't be screwed against someone who has like who has no armor but nothing but shields, so it's probably not a bad idea to just leave them as is. We could install a reactor booster, which would increase the cost of this ship and its upkeep, but it gives us a little bit more power to work with when we're building our ship, because basically when you're building your ship you can make all the changes you want here, like customize it any way you want, as long as you keep that power above the negatives. If it's at 0, that's perfectly fine. If you have it above, like at +10, you're fine. But if it's like -1 or any lower than that, you cannot build the ship. Because that's a representation of our power core, our reactor right here. If we have too many advanced guns on the ship, the reactor is not going to do anything. It's just going to, yeah. So, or like the reactor can't handle it, basically. But these are just the general stats of our ship. So yeah, if we want to increase the cost, we could add a reactor booster. But since we're still in the early game, we should be fine. We can upgrade these things though, so just in case we do need to engage with anything, we'll be a little bit better suited thanks to our faster ships. Because that's what the technology we just unlocked does. It's a thruster, so initially it's just like what you need to make the ship move, but now it's an ion thruster. Doesn't use chemical, it uses ion science technology or whatever. So it increases the speed of the ship and increases its chance to evade, like getting hit by something. So the speed is very important because that will mean we can get around our empire faster if we need to get from one end to the other. And we can easily afford the upgrades, so we'll go ahead and do that.
Ships upscaled.
And this is the power level of our fleet. So right now it says 116. It did say 108 earlier. And yeah, it's gonna get better over time. Eventually we're hoping to see that in like the hundreds of thousands or even the millions. So we got a new tradition. Let's keep filling out this discovery tree, so now we'll have more research alternatives for our technologies, and our scientists can level up more. It's not going to make them level up faster, just more.
Upscaling complete.
And now our construction ship here is done. So we're now basically out of influence. We'll have to wait a while before we can expand our borders further. So now we can just worry about building systems inside our empire. So let's get that constructed. How's Vtopia doing, by the way? It's doing pretty good. What we could do, yeah, let's go ahead and clear out one of these, because we've got a bit of energy stockpiled that we're not using for. So, yeah, if we clear out the sprawling slums, they'll actually give us a pop, and pops are what work jobs, and they're very useful, so we're going to do that. And it'll increase our max districts, because right now we're allowed 3 more districts, and that right there is a representation of what's grayed out we cannot physically get currently. So, let's do that. Let me take a drink.
Upscaling complete.
Alright, our construction ship is done. Let's have you move. We are hurting a little bit for energy, because each station that you build like this research station, for instance, does have an upkeep of 1 energy. So it's not a bad idea for every few stations you build to just do something to get more energy coming in. Also, this Shine's ship is not doing anything, and that's not what should be the case. We should have you keep exploring, keep expanding. Also, you may notice here, we got planets of different colors. So orange will indicate that there's a planet, and we don't know how habitable it is. Red means very low habitability, so our Savannah world, for instance, since that's a since it's a dry climate, we're used to wet climates, so we wouldn't like living there. Yeah, so it wouldn't be great to settle on that planet, even though it's got a size of 21, which is substantial. That's marked in red. This planet over here, however, and we do want to expand our borders right here, is actually an ocean world. Now, it's not perfect, because we like wet climates, but we prefer continental. We want at least a little bit of land that we can walk around on, and an ocean world is way too much of the planet is covered in water for us. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to inhabit, but we could at least live in the climate and not have too much trouble with it. So a green planet, when we come across it, will be one that we absolutely could thrive on. Like, we won't have any trouble settling it. For now, we'll just move on. We do want to expand our borders and settle another planet as soon as we can.
A system has been surveyed.
Which means when we have the influence for it, we'll probably move over here, just so we can have the potential of colonizing this planet. Let's see. So this doesn't look like it leads anywhere, so let's not worry about that for now. I'm not sure which way we should move. Should we go north or south? I mean, those aren't the actual directions, but let's move south. The reason I'm doing that is this has a lot more systems and a lot more paths that we could potentially survey, and right now I want the simplest, most straightforward path so we can get as much surveyed as possible before we worry about other stuff. The downside of going this direction, though, is this scientist is actually also heading in this direction, and looks like they'll be able to loop around and connect back here, which isn't... We'd really like to spread out. It might not be a bad idea to get a third science ship built, just so we can expand and explore in as many different directions as possible. Yeah, let's do that. Let's, over here, build another science ship. Because that way we can have you kind of explore over here, you'll explore over here, and then we'll send someone else to explore up here. And we found someone bad. Someone that's actually gonna, yeah, we've detected The VTS Sagacious, which is this one, has detected a massive subspace anomaly in the Turium system. It appears to be centered on one of our missing sublight probes.
Situation log revised.
We found our first enemies, and it's just a giant void cloud. Let's look at our situation log. Yeah, nothing great. So this thing has a strength, it's just a single ship, and it's got a strength of 743, which we cannot take on currently. We need to build up our fleet more, and our science ship is gonna run away because it's a non-military ship, it's a civilian ship, and they are set to evasive, meaning if there's an enemy fleet of any kind, they'll run away. You can set it to passive, so they'll still just ignore the fleet and just it makes it more likely they'll get killed if you do that. So for the most part, leave them at evasive. That's fine, because we don't want them
Research actualized.
trying to take on this thing. What we will have you do then is go here. And we finished up our research speed for administrative AI. So we've got a few things we could go for. Improved deflectors would just give us better shields for all our ships. I believe that does actually include your civilian ships, but you can't actually change them. They'll just upgrade automatically. We could improve how much energy we're getting from our technician jobs, so that's not a bad idea since we're kind of getting a little bit low on that. Colony development speed isn't a bad idea either, because it takes time for you to develop colonies, and we've got one in mind right here that we want. And then over here, physics research is probably our best bet, because physics is, I mean, speeding up research just with research is usually a pretty good idea. And currently we don't have any technologies over here that our scientists could benefit from, so yeah, we'll just, and this only costs 2,000 research points, so we'll do that. Takes 6 to 8 months. Next up should be planetary unification in 6 months. So yeah, here we go, we've got our new science ship. Let's recruit a brand new scientist. We'll just take Spark of Genius. I don't know if that actually affects anything in terms of what our other ships are doing. What am I saying? I don't know if that actually affects, like, the speed at which we research anomalies. It might do so, but it also might just be a dead, like a dead trait on a science ship, because it might not, yeah, it might not do anything. Well, since we now know we can't go down here until we go all the way over here, we've still got 3 paths to go from, because this guy's going to go over here, this guy's going to go, I think, up over here, so we'll have this scientist try to clear out this area. So we will have you move and survey this system. Ugh.
Upscaling complete.
Okay, VTS Sagacious has detected one of our missing sublight probes in the Decidia system. We should begin recovery efforts as soon as possible. So,
Situation log revised.
right here in this system, we've discovered one of our probes, and we can take it back. Should be no problem. I want to finish surveying the system before we bother doing that. And then you are done. We've still got a little ways to go before we can build another outpost, so let's keep building just inside our own system. And I thought I told you to build that a long time ago, so let's have you do that now. This system's actually looking pretty good. Look at all those minerals. If we can't expand in this direction...
Outlier identified.
Okay, we found a level 4 anomaly. So faint traces of weapon radiation indicative of a military spacecraft have been detected on Dysia? I think that's Dysia. Really? The sun? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but are you sure about that? On? Weapon radiation, I mean, I guess, I guess, like, if there was a fight and someone shot lasers and it hit the sun, that would be how it got weapon radiation. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Research actualized.
And there's our planetary unification, more monthly unity. Keep that coming in. And that gives us more edicts that we can use for with our influence and energy credits. But other than the ones for energy credits, we need all the influence we can get right now, so we're not going to bother with that yet. So, yeah, I really don't care about frequency tuning. It is probably good in the early game, but rarely, I find I don't need to go into combat all that much in the early game. So what we could do instead, so we've got pop growth speed, which is really good to get, but so is society research, getting that faster. Admin cap, we're fine for now, we're at 40, we will reach that cap eventually, but for now we're fine. And this doesn't matter to us, because we're not... I don't even think we have any soldier jobs, and we're not defending against anything right now, so... It's between these two. They're functionally identical in how long they'll take, because they're the same type of research, and they have the same cost. Let's see, pop growth speed is... They're both good to get early on. So let's go for research. 69, nice. Alright, let's keep it moving.
Outlier identified.
Oh, we found a level 6 anomaly. We're not going to be researching that for a long time. But basically, observing the massive asteroid WT9757, we've found something. We don't know what it is. There's a thing there, and yeah, we want this system. Look at how good that system is. Especially compared to all the crappy systems we've got here that just like, what? 3 energy, 2 physics, 2 energy, 3 physics, like, 2 research, what's that? 2 society, like, it's not great. 14 and 3 trade value and 4 energy. This is a good system, and we're not done surveying it yet, and there's an anomaly there. We want to get there. We want to get that locked down. Anyway, for now, let's have you go ahead and research this project while you're here. Go ahead and collect that space probe. And a sensor sweep from the VTS ambassador. That should be, I think, this one? Yeah. Has revealed one of our sublight probes in the Ambor system. So it's this one right here. When we got this event chain, a science ship was already in the system, so I think it didn't actually trigger this until we re-entered it with this this science ship. So it seems to have been altered somehow. Modifications of an alien origin have been attached to its hull, and the probe's energy signature is far greater than it should be. We are receiving a transmission. Are you the makers? Says the probe consciousness. Yes, we made you. Oh. Well, no matter what we say, it's gonna go hostile.
Situation log revised.
Then you shall die.
Evading competitive fleet.
Oh, come on. It's 40. Okay. We're gonna send our strike team to take care of that. We're also gonna assign them an admiral. It's just good to get an admiral if you're gonna be going to any sort of combat, because that way they can gain experience and get better in the long run. It's not as important if you're not likely to get in that many fights and that many wars, but because your admiral is just going to reach the end of their lifespan before it actually matters. But it's not a bad idea, especially, let's see what we've got. We have combat disengagement and an emergency FTL damage. What that means, so when you're in a fight and your ships are getting damaged, they will try to escape. They have self-preservation, so if given the opportunity, they will try to just run away from a fight instead of just getting blown up. So that increases the likelihood of that happening. Ship weapons range up 20%. That's pretty good. Means we can engage from further away and like start engaging from further away. And ship upkeep down. That's more important for bigger fleets. But yeah, ships do have an upkeep. They'll cost alloys and I'm pretty sure energy credits too. So it's not a bad idea to just reduce the upkeep. But yeah, since our fleet is pretty small right now, and this admiral's younger, so they'll live a little bit longer than this admiral. Also, you can see that from the age right there. As long as they are younger than 80, they're not going to die of old age. And then there is a % chance that they will die, and that increases over time. So you can actually see that number if you're curious. But yeah, let's take cautious. And there you go. Hello there. Wait. General Kenobi. Hi, Bandu. Nice. Thanks for coming to my stream. Okay, so yeah, we finished our construction. Got a little ways to go before we can build our next outpost, so let's just build some physics. Thank you, although unfortunately I'm not actually, I can't take subs yet, but I would happily take a follow, so thank you so much for following me. Yeah, I love prequel memes. I follow that subreddit. Yeah, thanks for coming to the
Outlier
stream, and I'm
identified.
glad you got the joke, because when I came on Twitter, like one of my first tweets, I said like someone said hello there. I replied General Kenobi, and I don't think they got it. So I appreciate your appreciation of my appreciation. Anyway, we've got routine level anomaly. I don't really care for that. We'll hit that up later when we're a higher level scientist.
A system has been surveyed.
Alright, we've finally finished surveying this really good system here, so... Oh man, I really wish we had more influence, because I want this, but I also want that. What should I go for? Well, we can't go for this yet, because there's that, but, so uncivilized. Yep. Anyway, you just finished with that. What's this anomaly level? Way too hard. So we're gonna have you head over here and explore this system. Hey, a new tradition. Alright, we've got Polytechnic Education. So now all our leaders are gonna gain experience faster and have a higher level cap. That's good. That's very good to see. Alright, so VTS Alacrity, that's this one, I think? Yep. Picked up a signal from a discarded signal buoy belonging to one of our missing sublight probes in the Saya system. There is an ion trail leading away from the buoy as a trajectory towards another star, suggesting that someone has towed the probe there for unknown reasons. Let's see where it leads.
Situation log revised.
What's the situation log telling me here? There's escape probes. Follow the ion trail. What's that? Oh, it's just here. Cool.
Upscaling complete.
Let's see. And we recovered this probe. Sensor telemetry it has collected over the years has provided us with a complete survey of all planetary bodies within the system. Okay, cool. And we've got... You are... Oh, that's my leader. My main leader has leveled up, so that's good. We've got some anomalies. You're only a level 2. Let's keep exploring in this direction. Let's hit up this trinary star system. We've got construction ship. Okay, yeah. We're gonna go for this system here. It's not as good as this system, but at least this one has a planet we can potentially colonize soon, and I think that was the right decision, because looks like we've discovered Zeta aliens. And are they actually intelligent life? Yes, they are. These are intelligent life, meaning we've found our first empire. They're somewhere over here. And we want to lock down as many systems in this direction, so they don't take them. Oh, and let's go ahead and get that situation log to translate their language. Our strike force
Competitors engaged.
is gonna melt this space probe thingy. Alright. So, little remains of the strange alien modifications that our missing sublight probe had been subjected to, but we did manage to collect some valuable engineering data from the wreckage. Its memory banks were also salvaged, and from it we have extracted survey data of the entire Ambor system. I don't really care about the survey data because we've already surveyed it, but we got some engineering research out of it and another probe. So that's nice. Let's go ahead. None of you actually took any damage. Your shields are perfect. Let's just have you head back home. We will eventually want to take that subspace anomaly on, but... Okay, you're level 3 now, that's good. Yeah. Alright, we have... Yeah, our construction ship is finishing up. An archaeological site, our first one as well, so if we can get this system locked down and in our borders, we can start excavating this site and get some cool stuff out of it. Surface scans of Unix 9 picked up signs that technological civilization may have been active on the planet, but has since gone extinct. We will need to mount a surface expedition to learn more. We'll get to that if we can.
Outlier identified.
Oh, we found another anomaly. This one's easy. We're receiving a weak signal from the surface of this moon. The source appears to be some kind of tracking beacon. We will get to that later.
Upscaling complete.
And there we go. We finally unlocked this. Got this system in our borders. Let's build a mining station just because. Oh, this science ship is done. Oh, are you? You should be surveying. I definitely told you to survey. Alright. Wait. Dude. Survey that. Why are you being dumb? I don't know why he was being dumb. But, alright, fine. We'll just research this anomaly. Maybe it's a bug.
Upscaling complete.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't translate their language before they translated ours. So we've discovered the Wolhub hegemony. They've translated our language, and now let's find out what they had to say. Okay. We can get on that, because we're also fanatic xenophiles. And we don't care that they're militaristic. So, I bring greetings from Grand Marshal Vort, the undisputed ruler of the Wolhub hegemony. We wish to learn more about your species. Which martial techniques do your warriors employ, given your fascinating biology? Well, we're gonna greet... I always like to greet them based on, like, what's immediately, like, something they like. I don't know if that actually affects their first impressions of us. But we will greet them as fanatic xenophiles. We wish for nothing but to be friends, Woolhubby. So, the news that we've encountered intelligent alien life for the first time is spreading like wildfire throughout the Vtuber interstellar streamers. Our citizens are fascinated by these beings, and the media is full of reports and speculation and speculation on their culture and society. The revelation that we are not alone in this galaxy has largely been greeted with celebration on Vtopia. Just like us, the aliens appear to be relative newcomers on the galactic stage, and their level of technology is similar to our own. So this is a momentous occasion. By the way, you are done with your construction, and we can't build any more outposts. That's a shame. Let's have you build this mining station. Okay, well... Oh, they're puny! Aw, look how adorable they are. Well, let's get them on side. Currently they're militaristic, so obviously their fleets can be overwhelming, and we want them to like us, so let's improve our relations with every available envoy, because we have 5 envoys that aren't doing anything right now. Just get them to like us as much as possible. I maybe should have kept at least 1 envoy on standby in case we ran into anyone else we need to improve relations with, because I think you can't move envoys for a certain period of time after they've been assigned. But yeah, these, what do they live on, by the way? Gaia worlds? Okay. So yeah, they're fine. We want to expand as much as we can. Hopefully we can kind of cut them off. Also, eventually, we want to make it, not a trade deal, what's it called? A commercial pact. We want to eventually form a commercial pact with them, because that way we can at least, because we are a megacorp, one thing we are really into doing is going to other people's planets and building branch offices. So this is kind of how we can exist outside of our own empire, is basically we're setting up in a different location and selling our brand there, and we can do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, there's some pretty good bonuses you can get out of that. So we want to be friends with them, and we want to establish that commercial pact as soon as possible, and we want as many commercial packs as we can get our hands on.
Incoming inquiry.
And they want a research agreement. This will hurt our upkeep of influence a little bit, but it's not a bad idea to have 1 research agreement. Basically, it means that research that either of us knows will be faster to research for the other person. And I believe it'll also make them like us more, so why not? Yeah, they're expanding. We've got an ancient survey marker. A small, short-range transmitter has been located on the surface of Saya 3A, so that's the moon of Saya 3. It appears to be an ancient survey marker placed here eons ago to mark a large deposit of precious metals. The miners it was meant for evidently never arrived, as the deposit is still here. So, we found a single moon now is generating a lot of minerals. And now this science ship, come on. Survey the system. Okay, it's being dumb. I think it's bugged. In that case, let's have you survey this system. Hopefully moving out and back into the system will let me...
Incoming inquiry.
Oh, hello. Finally, want the commercial pact. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yep. We got a lot to offer one another. So let's enter a mutually beneficial commercial pact. So, what this means, this is fine for other civilizations, but it's especially good for megacorps. because now we have the right to establish branch offices. So it's going to cost us some influence and a bunch of energy to establish, and how far away they are from us will affect how expensive it is to establish. And that's going to cost most of what we have. But I think it should be fine. Do I even know anything about what... Okay, so they're generating 17 trade value. And I think we get all that trade value from them. Either way, it's not a bad idea to have a branch office. It will hurt us in the long run from expanding our borders. But what it means is we will at least have that branch office before other people show up. Because I often find when I'm playing as a megacorp, also you can't establish branch offices on another megacorp. They have to not be megacorp. But you can establish branch offices. Yeah, I often find when I'm about where I want to be establishing branch offices, they already have commercial pacts with other people that have established those offices already. So we're gonna just capitalize on them and build that branch office. It's gonna suck for us right off the bat, because we are spending most of our influence that we're not getting as much of as we could, but we want them, we want the benefits. So what can we produce here? These will benefit, so it'll benefit both me and this empire, I believe. And what can we build? So public relations isn't bad. That'll get us more unity. And yeah, I think that jobs-based production thing, they get the benefit of that. So that means this planet will get more amenities and trade value, but that will help us in the long term too, because how much we're making off this branch office is based off of the planet's trade value. We could get virtual entertainment studios that will get us more consumer goods, and that's not terrible. Private research enterprises will speed up our research. Private mining consortiums will get us more minerals. Private military industries will get us more alloys. Mercenary liaison offices will get us actually more naval capacity. Fast food chains if we're struggling for food, but we're not currently. Commercial forums, that's not a bad idea, because that's gonna just right off the bat improve the value of this branch office, but it might not be a good thing to get early on if this planet is only producing 17. And then over here we can make get ourselves amenities. And some of these have limits and some of them don't, to how many you can have on each planet. Let's get some private research enterprises. I forgot to check what we were building that with. Let's cancel you. Okay, yeah, it's just minerals. That's fine. So we spent most of what we have up here, not including these, but it'll be worth it in the long run, I'm sure of it. So, with that, I say it's time to end it here. I've been going for 3 hours now. My voice is a little bit rusty, and I'm hungry. I want dinner. So, thank you to everyone who showed up. I hope to continue with this run in the future. Though, I don't know, there's another DLC coming out soon, and maybe we'll go for the DLC. Go ahead and download that, and that will, getting the, yeah, it's the Nemesis DLC, I think it's called, and that will get us, a whole bunch of new fun toys, and it might not be compatible with our current save, so yeah, we'll have to see. If we can keep the save as is, we'll do that, but if we have to reload, I won't complain, because as it happens, this isn't the best start I've ever had. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had much better starts. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Have a nice evening, morning, rest of your day, and bye-bye.